You know, every single time we speak or write, we're actually using a kind of secret code. Well, today, we're going to give you the tools to start cracking it. So let's get into it.
I mean, really think about it. How do all those different words work together to create one single coherent idea? What is this secret glue holding it all in place? Well, the answer is something called the parts of speech. You can think of these as the fundamental building blocks, kind of like the Lego bricks of our language. And once you learn to see them, you can understand how literally any sentence is built. Okay, so to make things a little easier, grammarians have basically sorted all the words in the English language into two big families, two totally different kinds of building blocks.
So on one side, you've got what are technically called lexical items, but let's just call them content words. These are the heavy lifters, the ones that carry the real meaning. Words like nouns and verbs. And what's cool is they're an open class, which just means we can invent new ones all the time. Think about it. Words like selfie or to Google, those didn't even exist a few decades ago. Then on the other side, you've got grammar words. These guys are the structural glue. And they're a closed class, meaning we very, very rarely add new prepositions or conjunctions to the language.
So for today's deep dive, we're going to zoom right in on one of the most important content words of all, the noun. And we're going to figure out how to spot one no matter where it's trying to hide. All right, welcome to the investigation. We're officially becoming grammar detectives, and our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to identify any noun with 100% accuracy using a simple three-step method. Okay, so our investigation is going to use a three-clue method, and this comes straight from the experts. To spot a noun, or really any content word, we just need to look at three things: its form, its position in the sentence, and its function. Believe me, this is way more reliable than that old person, place, or thing rule we all learned in school. Let's break down that first clue. First up is form. So what does that even mean? Well, this clue is all about what the word looks like, its actual shape, and the ways that shape can change. Think of it like the word's physical DNA. One of the biggest giveaways when it comes to form is a word's ending, its suffix. A ton of nouns have these little telltale endings. If you see a word that ends in -er, ion, or ness, your detective senses should be going off, because there's a really good chance you're looking at a noun. Okay, here's another huge clue for form. Just ask yourself this question. Can it be plural? Can you have more than one of it? If a word can just add an S or an ES at the end to mean more than one, like how book becomes books, it is almost certainly a noun. That's a key change the word can go through. And the final piece of our form puzzle is possession. Ask yourself, can this word own something? Nouns are the words that can take an apostrophe S to show ownership. Think John's bag, the player's ball, the children's ball. If it can show that it owns something, you've got yourself a noun. Okay, so that's form. But what a word looks like is only part of the story. Our second clue is all about position. This has nothing to do with how the word looks, but everything to do with where it lives in the sentence. Who are its neighbors?
And here it is, maybe the most useful trick in the entire book for spotting nouns. They absolutely love to hang out right after words we call determiners. So if you spot an a, an, the, my, or his, a noun is almost always just around the corner. The dog. A great idea. My car. Seriously, once you see this pattern, you will never be able to unsee it.
All right, let's move on to our third and final clue. Function. This one is all about the job the word is doing in that sentence. What's its role? What's its whole purpose for being there?
So a noun's number one job, its most common gig, is to be the subject of the sentence. Think of it as the main character, the one performing the action. And the key here is that the subject almost always comes before the main verb. Just look at this example. Kwame goes to school. Who goes? Kwame. He's the subject, he's doing the action. That tells us that Kwame is a noun. So if you can find the main character of the sentence, you've probably found a noun. And just like that, our case is closed. We have gathered all the evidence, and now you have a reliable three-part toolkit for spotting any noun out there in the wild. So let's just quickly recap the toolkit. First, you check its form. Does it have a nouny ending? Can you make it plural? Can it own something? Second, you check its position. Does it show up after a word like the or a? And third, you check its function. Is it the star of the show, the subject doing the action? If you can answer yes to these, you have definitely found your noun. And look, here's why all of this really matters. Learning to see the building blocks of a sentence isn't just some boring academic exercise. It actually makes you a more powerful communicator. You can build stronger, clearer sentences in your own writing, and you can understand complex ideas way more easily when you read.
So there you have it. You've officially cracked the noun. You now have the key to understanding how sentences are actually built. The code is in your hands. So the only question left is, what part of speech are you going to decode next?